Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Lucky back with another one. Today, we are going to be doing my breakdown on New Gods number 2 because I've seen a few people request it and I want to make it. So, let's just jump right on into it. Alrighty, and jumping right on in, we have this beautiful cover for issue 2 of The New Gods, written by Ron V, Evan Cagle, and art again. But this time with the guest artist, we have Jesse Lonergan, I think is how you pronounce it. He does the first 4 pages. I mentioned that in the very first video, is that there's always going to be a guest artist for the first 4 pages and maybe even some more, as we will come to find out maybe in issue 3 when I do my breakdown on that and review. Um, but then we just jump right on in, and we are at the Matreon Ontrum, I think is how you pronounce it. I have no idea, bro. Uh, it's in unknown space, and we just get shown a little bit about why people what Karak pretty much thinks of himself, or kind of what people say about him, like these rumors, these myths they tell, or stuff like that, on how he got the name Death Speaker, because he's it's crazy because his, like, the tales they tell you about are wild, but then you get this cool spread page, and he pretty much, it says nothing more than a scavenger, he thinks to himself. So he just sees himself as a scavenger, and then it kind of tells you a little bit, um, of fun little things. This awesome spread page, though, I will say that. But he like when someone said gods, he stifles a laugh. So he laughs at the gods in a way I think is pretty much how Ron V's putting it. Um, but it's an awesome double page spread. Um, then you have him battling some monster, and then Hyman, the Prometheus code. It has a little thing kind of telling us about the source. I like the little lore that we're getting. I'll let you guys read that part of it. It's pretty dope. Um, but then we get our last little page, like our last little panel. It says, he has always thought himself little more than a scavenger. The moment that this task was set to him, they were each and every one of them gods, devils, heroes, and villains, as good as dead after all. And then you get jumped right on in to Evan Cagle's art, and it's a prophecy. High Father is dreaming of this prophecy that's going to happen. It says, New Genesis will crumble. The devourers at the outer ring shall fall. And then you just see this, bro, the art's so cool. And then the language too. Ram V created his own language for this book. I still need to learn it, actually. Um, but then it says, Apocalypse will thunder to the rhymes, or the rhythms of war, and all your mistakes shall haunt your dreams, Isa. Isa is High Father. Some people didn't see the first video. That is his name, Isa. Uh, but then it says, like an eclipse devouring the last light of the gods. Pray, High Father, pray. And through the fall is an inevitable pray. And then you see him screaming because he's like, oh my God, he just had this nightmare of everything, the whole thing that he's built, this whole world, New Genesis, what he's built, that is all just gonna go away, and it terrifies him. So he screams, he's like, ah. And then it says, through the end is coming, pray. Light rays watching over. Akalaya is here to keep High Father safe. He's trying to tell him that it's only a dream, and then, for even gods may be graced, but an unlikely miracle. And then you get just jumped right on into the boy, Mr. Miracle. Um, he's goaded. He's writing a letter to Barda, talking about how this is what he's always been, is that he's always wanted to escape, and that's just what he was raised to do. And he feels that if he doesn't do this mission or this task, that Orion has asked of him that he feels like he would not be the man that Barda fell in love with. Um, and he doubts himself. But I love this little part where he says, "You were the promise past my final escape," which is just amazing. That little bubble is just amazing. That little part of it, and then jumps over to Olivia Free. Olivia Live Free is Scott and Barta's daughter, and talking about how he wants her to feel proud of knowing who her father is, and to look at him with pride, or to ever think of him with pride every time she does. Um, and he pretty much just says, Orion has given me 7 days, and I have already squandered so many, working up the courage to do this. If I asked, I know you'd come with me, but we have a child now. And then it shows day one when Ryan's fighting these beasts, because bro just, he's beating everybody's ass, I guess. I don't know. Bro just wants the hands. He does this shit for the love of the game. But then it's still Scott. Pretty much it's his all of his note, and he goes to leave. Um, After all this heartfelt, really good stuff that Round V wrote, it's just amazing. He's saying, "Please forgive me." Then he walks outside and goes, "Holy shit!" And then boom, bro! I love this page so much. Big Barda, and then it's just Barda and Olivia. Oh my god, it's amazing. And then she's like, "The nerve of you, Scott Free, bro." She says some cuss words, but she's like, "It's hilarious, bro." I was like, "What?" I swear to God, I'm gonna beat your ass. Um, and he's like, now, Barda, Barda, listen, it's not what it. He's all like nervous and shit. She's like, she's about to beat my ass. Um, and she's like, it looks like you were trying to sneak off on some adventure because your brother showed up out of nowhere. And I was like, bro, she knows all this shit. And then she just holds Scott up in the air and she's like, hey, and you talked you into doing something stupid like thinking you needed to leave your wife and child behind. I was like, oh shit. And she goes, tell me that's not what's happening here. And he's like, ah, shit. He's like, she got me, man. And he pretty much tells Barter that Orion's been tasked to kill a child. She's like, yeah, sounds about right. And this child might be a god like them. And pretty much that, and if I don't find him and save him, you can fill me in. And Barter's just like, bro, I'm coming with you, bro. Like, there's no debate, Scott. Like, no debate at all. And then he like she puts him down. He has to like fix himself. He's like, damn, she just manhandled you. But that's what you get with Big Barda, bro. Holy shit, man. Um, he's like, you're not mad? And then she goes, you're on diaper duty forever. Boom, and throws a diaper at his face. But then we get thrown to the south of Mangalore, Karkatara, I think is how you say it. It's in India, but you see a man pretty much asking about how is he, his fever's broken butt. And then we get thrown into where the little boy is, and pretty much just telling about how he's not feeling too well. They went to go get medicine, but she's like, how the hell did you get medicine? And he's like, don't worry, made a painful call, didn't use our cards, because they're on the run pretty much. Maxwell Lord is trying to hunt them down to find this kid. And they're just like, you saw what happened, what he did. That's why they want him, isn't it? And we don't even know. So pretty much he killed all those people just in a snap of a finger. Pretty much, it was insane. It was awesome. But Father is saying we know who he is. Maria, I think is how you say it. I'm assuming that is. I don't know why I'm hesitant, but um, he just pretty much is like, he did it to save us. And those three, you get a little bit backstory that 3 years after we lost Neil, which was their first kid, they lost their first kid, which sucks. They almost to the day, and I just found a baby crawling up the stone steps at the Krishnandra temple. I can't even. Krishan, Krishan Arja. I can't even pronounce it. I'm not gonna lie. The temple, and here's remember thinking such a cliche moment. Like, like you always hear these stories about of babies being abandoned at temples, right? I didn't even believe in a god, and now he's just kind of saying that this kid was a blessing to them, and he knows that he is a gift, and they want to keep this kid safe no matter what, pretty much, which I thought is insane and wholesome. It's amazing. And saying he is our son, then you get thrown into one of Maxwell Lord's guys trying to hunt him down. He knows that he made a payphone. He knows he bought some stuff, and he knows the town is small, but they're looking all around to figure out where they are because they're trying to get them. Um, then Maxwell Lord's talking to somebody. You're like, who is this, right? And we get thrown to our next page. Sorry. Uh, And then Maxwell Lord says this crazy shit about his father shooting himself, which I was like, oh my God, that got insane. Brain splattered all over the place. That's just wild. Um, and he's like, he was a God fearing man. Ha ha ha. And you're like, what the hell? This dude crazy. Um, but he says all this crazy shit, man. Like it's this page was like, I was just like, oh my God, this is wild, bro. But this is Surfer Fan, I think. Surfan, I think is his name. Um, but he's kind of just talking shit, but like not talking shit. It's weird. Like you are like insects, yes, scurrying and biting at crawling your way to the top. So pretty much just trying to tell him that. But then Maxwell Lord goes that he was in a coma. I don't know how he got in a coma. Probably in a different DC book that I didn't read. But somebody came and woke him up from this coma. A miracle is what he says, with a new purpose and drive. And it looks like Metron, and it is Metron because Surfin, he knows who that is. Like he was like he goes Metron, but Metron wakes him up, but puts a Omega symbol on his head, bro, on his forehead. This man's a demon, bro. Metron's always up some like sneaky ass shit, bro. I swear he's dope though. I love his design. But he wakes him up, puts this like this. That's just this Omega symbol, and he has this new divine purpose, which are like, what the hell? Then we get thrown to Apokolips, and uh, Metron's talking to Desaad, and Mantis has pretty much declared himself the overlord. All this shit. I mean, Apokolips is just in chaos pretty much since Darkseid is gone. They don't really have a true leader, and they don't know what to do with themselves. But Desaad says at the very end of this page, he goes, "Metron Crook Tongue is when you start calling me a friend." So like what bothers him is that when he starts calling him the friend, because it says but the thing that bothers me the most, and then is that he keeps calling him friend, which he hates. Like he's just like, this fool ain't got no friends. Metron's crazy, all the stuff. And he goes, and then you start spouting prophecy and pre-recognition. And then he says, Metron goes, I am only here by the source's will, and despite your cold welcome, I am still your friend. Darkseid is dead. And then Desaad said, your talent for prediction is somewhat rusty, it would seem. I thought that much was obvious by the state of this God-forsaken place. And Metron then tells Desaad about this new god on Earth, and Desaad's like, Darkseid is? And you're like, oh shit. And then Metron tells Desaad that Highfather has tasked Orion with killing this child. And Desaad's like, I must make these preparations now. I'll have the granny call the Forth the Furies, set Kanto against Mantis, and this ought to buy me some. And he goes, there is no time. And you're like, what? And then he goes, your foes are little consequence in a larger scheme. And he's like, I cannot leave Apocalypse unattended. Darkseid would never. And then Metron goes, Apocalypse is doomed. Bro just casually goes, Apocalypse is doomed. And he goes, I came here not with a prediction, but with a warning. The end comes with an eclipse, the devouring of the last light of the gods. Why does Metron always cook, bro? I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like the way that Ron V writes Metron is just peak. And then Metron goes, and it is already here. The eclipse is here. And you can see it's a whole planet that's pretty, or it's not even like it's just look at all those ships. And then the Death Speaker. I'm just gonna refer to him as Death Speaker because that's just such a badass name. But he tells his warriors send forth the first kin. Let the fall of Apokolips begin. Oh my god, bro. Peak. This shit is peak, bro. If you are not reading this, please go read this. You will love every second of this. I don't know. For me, every time I read it, I'm just like, oh my god, this is so incredible. And I love this book so damn much. And I think every person that reads comics, that likes DC or intergalactic stuff, space stuff, you need to be reading this New God series because holy shit, it is amazing. But yeah, I'll catch you guys at the end of the video. Alrighty, and that is the end of the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy this one. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see part 3. Issue 4 just came out last week at the time of this recording. So yeah, just let me know if you guys want to see it. This issue was phenomenal. All the other issues so far has been phenomenal also. And I would love to make these videos like a regular thing on the channel. It would actually be super dope. If you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comments. But yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.